do not know anyone who can fight a lion. I'd like to think there's a few Maasais that can, of course, fight a lion, but yeah. Is there such a thing as, impossibility? I think we limit ourselves a lot. We limit ourselves in what we do. We limit our minds, and I think if we are to achieve something hard, it makes sense for us to push ourselves, and I don't think people push themselves. You might have been in this situation where you had to achieve something, right? You had to maybe take an exam, maybe you had a certain challenge, and you're like, oh man, this is not going to be easy, but I'm going to study one more hour. I'm going to do one more rep and see how it goes. So that is what it looks like. It begs the question of, well, how far can one push themselves, right? And I don't think people push themselves enough. Impossibility goes hand in hand with time. Right? Like you are especially when it comes to endurance, right? When it comes to endurance, and you look at doing hard things, how long can you do that for? Can you endure? And a lot of reward comes to people who can endure the longest. Let's say you're trying to run a marathon tomorrow. It's not going to be possible, right? But if you were to train and start, you would let's say take, I don't know, you start by walking, and you would walk 1 kilometer, and the following day you would walk 1.5, and the next day you would walk 2 or 3. That is how you build your endurance muscle. And this is what people like David Goggins are trying to teach you. Like when he say, who's gonna carry the boat? That is what he's trying to tell you. It's like, well, there needs to be people in the world who can do hard things. Otherwise, it's like, well, just all going to lie back and not do shit. And then there's like mental strength, which is, well, you're trying to do something that is very hard. It can be building an application that is #1 in the App Store. When I say something very hard, I do not mean I mean something hard, but that has an impact. A lot of what school teaches us is, well, you do something hard, but then it's at a scale. Like it's an F or an A. But that is not true. Doing something hard should be measured in impact. How many people are impacting? That should be the question. This applies to your team. It applies to people around you. It applies to everyone. Like how many people are impacting. That is how you measure success. Even if it's a business, like if you're trying to sell something, you should be like, well, I'm giving you this solution, but these are the numbers. Like this is how you're going to see that it's working. The impact. You're selling the impact. Otherwise, you're just bullshitting. And then there's focus. Like if you are to achieve something substantial, you're going to focus for a longest period of time. By long, I mean years. You can think of the pyramids, right? How long do you think it took the Egyptians to build the pyramids? 1 year? A decade? A century? My guess is a long time. One of the reasons we don't pursue ambitious goals is because of self-doubt. We don't think we can take on bigger things, bigger responsibilities. We don't have that belief in us. We think, well, it's somebody else's job. It's doubt. Doubt stops people. It's doubt. And when you're still doubting yourself, somebody less skilled, somebody less strong has eaten your cake. Just like that. Boom. Gone. Doubt. You need to remove these blindfolds that makes you think, well, I am just a junior. The other day I met a lady, and then on her badge it was written Junior Project Manager. And then I asked her, why junior? And she was like, I've just been here for 6 months. Well, that doesn't make you a junior. Do you think someone who has project manager is better than you? Maybe if you gave yourself a week and you're like, well, in this week I'm going to take on more than them, I'm going to deliver more than them, I'm going to be more outspoken, do you think you'd still wear the label junior, right? It is limiting beliefs. On your way to achieve what's hard or impossibility, there's going to be friction. You cannot tell me that David Goggins runs 100 kilometers without friction. Well, friction is tests. Do you really want this? And then you overcome friction after friction, and before you realize it, you have achieved something that seemed impossible to you, something a previous version of you could not achieve. If you struggle with self-doubt, I would advise you to run as many experiments as possible. Experiment. Like, find something that is very hard and try and do it. And do not stop. Try another one. And try another one. And then push yourself. Try and endure. Yeah, that's just what I think. And it's interesting. We are living in an age where skills are not going to be an issue. Skill sets are not going to be an issue. You're going to have access to a decade long of research, data, access. You can ask anything, right? I'm talking about artificial intelligence. So skills are not an issue. But then if skills are not an issue, it becomes, well, who wants it the most? You know? Resilience becomes who's more resilient. We are entering an age where the gap between people who are resilient and people who want an easy life is going to be massive. It's going to be very, very massive. The gap between people who can be resilient, and because if you want a normal job, if you're happy being a cashier, but I'm occasionally going to curse because why curse? If you want to be a cashier, you have to know that there's someone who wants everything. And there's someone who's not going to stop, and then you've just given them access to data, research, right? So the gap between ambitious people and other people is going to, I mean, people who can settle for average is going to be massive. Is going to be, yeah. You cannot expect to achieve impossible without focus. Focus means removing distractions. Artificial intelligence means that we're going to be more distracted. Means that we're going to be you've seen now, I've mentioned vibes. Vibes is the latest meta product, and it is AI slope. That is how you'd label it, AI slope, or it's how it's labeled. It's video. It's basically video, but AI generated, and an unlimited number of scrolling. Yeah. So that is the level of distraction that you're going to face. And if you succumb to it, best believe there's someone who's leveraging the research to create something. Yeah. Anyway, I think this is not going to be a long live stream because I started late and we faced issues, but yeah. And I know my mic is not as good as I want it to be, but we're going to improve. So cheers till next time. Stay safe and keep learning. Hasta luego.